Hey everybody! So you know that mistletoe that you're thinking of hanging this Christmas? Or that Jesus fish that might be on the back of your car? Or that swastika that might be in your house, hopefully not? Well, guess what? None of those things mean what you think they do. Here are 10 symbols that aren't what you thought they were. Number 10 is the Jesus fish. Okay, you've likely spotted the Jesus fish on the back of more than just a few cars. Well, the Jesus fish is actually an ichthys and is one of the most recognized symbols in Christianity. The symbol has been found in Christian artwork and writings from as far back as the 2nd century AD, but its true identity dates back even farther. As Christianity developed, symbols from other religions and pagan belief systems were adapted to Christian beliefs, since they would have been more familiar to the people of the time. The ichthys had originally been associated with various goddesses, including Aphrodite and Venus, and represented female fertility. In fact, if you flip that fish long way around, it pretty clearly looks like some lady parts. This is because back in the day, the vagina was believed to be super sacred, since it literally brought life into this world. Look at all y'all driving around with little metal vaginas on the back of your car. What are you trying to advertise? Number 9 is mistletoe. Every December, bundles of mistletoe are hung from doorways, and if you're lucky enough to meet someone beneath it, it's time to pucker up. But kissing under the mistletoe is the result of 2 even older traditions. Legend has it that an arrow poisoned with mistletoe killed the Viking god Baldur, but he was brought back to life and decided that the plant must not be a symbol of death, and so it must never touch the ground. The Celtic Druids also worshipped mistletoe that grew from oak trees. They believed that it was a sacred symbol of fertility, strength, and overall manliness. What's up, girl? You like this mistletoe? Mm-hmm. And cutting it from the tree was seen as a form of ritual castration, and hanging it in your home would bring you the same qualities. Since the mistletoe berries grow in winter, it eventually became associated with Christmas. Ooh, what's happening, girl? You want to kiss me under this castrated plant? Number 8 is the pentagram. The pentagram is a 5-pointed star made of interconnecting lines in a circle, and it has long been associated with witches, Satanists, and anything basically resembling anything to do with devil worship. Christian tradition has labeled the pentagram a symbol of evil, but in pagan traditions, it was a symbol of protection from evil. In early Christianity, the pentagram was interpreted to represent the 5 wounds of Christ on the cross. Historically, the number 5 has been considered sacred and magical, and represents all the elements that make up life. The pentagram's upward-facing point represents the spirit, and the other 4 points represent the elements: earth, wind, fire, and water. But today, of course, the pentagram, and particularly the inverted pentagram, is generally considered to represent the dark side, but it really represents conquering evil. Still, that being said, kids, please don't go to school with a pentagram talking to your teacher like, "Oh, Matthew Santoro said it was okay." Number 7 is the inverted cross. Much like the pentagram, the inverted cross has become associated with devil worship in modern society. Satanists have adopted it as one of their most popular symbols, which shows allegiance to the Antichrist. But the inverted cross is actually the symbol of Saint Peter, the very first pope. "I am the pope, this is my symbol, and everybody got it wrong. What's up with that?" When Peter was sent to be crucified, he requested to be hung upside down because he didn't think that he was worthy enough to die in the same way that Jesus did. In fact, the inverted cross is still used frequently in Catholicism. It's even on the Pope's throne and his big old hat as a reminder of St. Peter's martyrdom. This is why confused Catholics and Satanists have used this as fuel for conspiracy theories that the Pope is actually the Antichrist. But hey, I guess that's what happens when you sleep through Sunday school or a Matthew Santoro video. What's up? Number 6 is Uncle Sam. The Uncle Sam that we all know today actually started out in satirical comics about the United States government. He first came about during the War of 1812, with Uncle Sam being the nickname for the U.S. that was on soldiers' uniforms and stamped on government property. He's officially been recognized as being inspired by the businessman Sam Wilson, who supplied the army with barrels of beef during the war. Yeah, but this cartoon image originated from a mix of Yankee Yankee Doodle Dandy and the character Brother Jonathan. Uncle Sam was actually used to embody the US government and political system and show how inept and dishonest it is. It wasn't until after the American Civil War that his image was used on recruitment posters during the First World War, and eventually becoming the unofficial mascot for America and its military. America, I want you. To tell the truth about who I am, I don't even know who I'm supposed to be anymore. Number 5 is a rabbit's foot. Rabbits are adorable, hoppy floppy fur babies. So when did we decide chopping off their feet and hanging it from a keychain was lucky? Well, it's actually a tradition that has existed for centuries across many cultures, going as far back as 600 BC in Europe. Yeah, that rabbit, it looks lucky, you bring it home, I kept it there. But in North American culture, it's associated with African American hoodoo folklore, which believed that witches were actually disguising themselves as rabbits. So if you caught one, you'd inherit its power. But it wasn't exactly that straightforward. There were lots of rules involved to actually getting that power to work. First of all, the rabbit had to have been shot, preferably with a silver bullet or caught in a graveyard. Okay, sounds reasonable so far. Next, it had to be the left hind foot of the rabbit that was chopped off. And most importantly, it had to be taken either on a full moon or new moon. Okay, yeah, no, that's just weird. This is all just weird. Stop chopping off bunny feet, weirdos. Number 4 is the swastika. The swastika came to mean hate and evil when it was adopted by Adolf Hitler to become the symbol of the Nazi Party. But the swastika symbol is actually nearly 12,000 years old and was used in many cultures all over the world before the Aryans started to use it. It actually dates back to the Indian subcontinent and is considered a sacred symbol in Buddhism, Hinduism, and more. So contrary to modern associations, its name in ancient Sanskrit actually means auspiciousness or good fortune. But that's not all. It was even used by ancient Greeks, the Druids, Celts, Nordic tribes, and various Native American tribes. Unfortunately, despite thousands of years of history and culture, a symbol that once meant life and eternity has been completely stripped of any positive meaning. So this is more for the adults, but yeah, even though you know the truth now, don't be going out and getting that and trying to explain to people, because it's not gonna work. Number 3 is the peace sign. The hippie days might be long gone, man, but this symbol has continued to be a universal symbol for peace, love, and unity. But it didn't actually start that way. In 1958, British artist Gerald Holtham designed the symbol as a logo for the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament March, which was protesting nuclear weapons. Holtham was actually using semaphore letters from the handheld flag signaling system. He chose the letters N and D for nuclear disarmament. Then he superimposed the symbols, which looked like an inverted V and a straight line in a circle that represented the Earth. His intent was for it to look like a human being bent over in despair. He actually regretted that the symbol's origins were so depressing and made a flipped version of it. But by that time, the original was already too popular. Disarm the nukes, man. They're just bad. Number 2 is Guy Fawkes. Anarchists and hackers have adopted this mask as a symbol for anyone fighting against corruption. The mask features a pointed mustache and goatee and is worn by those who don't want their true identity exposed. It was designed by the illustrator David Lloyd for the V for Vendetta comic series that began back in 1982. The comic's lead character and his mask were meant to represent a resurrection of the real Guy Fawkes from the 1600s. If you don't know your history, allow me to explain. On November 5th, 1605, Guy Fawkes attempted to blow up the House of Lords in British Parliament as part of a larger plan to kill King James. The only problem is that he wasn't just trying to overthrow a corrupt monarchy and government, he was also trying to reinstate the Catholic Church as the ruling power, which is probably not the utopian society current Fawkes fans have in mind. True, but still a Halloween favorite. And number 1 is the heart. hearts are everywhere in our culture. In fact, if you look in the most recently used section of your phone for emojis, it's probably in there. But where did this symbol of love and Valentine's Day come from? Well, the symbol actually comes from the shape of the silphium seed pod, which was used by the Greeks and Romans as a natural form of birth control. But if you turn the heart upside down, you'll also spot something else. Testicles. For them, it meant sex and health. And they loved the stuff so much that the shape of the seed pod was even on their coins. But if you're wondering why we don't still use this magic plant today, it's because they used it so much that it literally went extinct by the 1st century AD. It wasn't until the Middle Ages that the symbol lost its direct ties to sex and started to become associated with our modern notions of love, partly in thanks to religious imagery like the Sacred Heart of Christ. And now you know, so go ahead and send those silphium pod emojis to the one you love, you know what I'm saying? You know what it means. So that was 10 symbols that aren't what you thought they were, but now you know. If you enjoyed this, remember to give it a big thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking the little bell beside the subscribe button so you never miss a thing, because I release new videos all the time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. That's the silphium pod right there for your face, right from me. Bye!